Hi, it's Ernie Gonzalez of Patriot Pacific Financial Corp. And today I am joined with Sal, a real estate agent from Remax, and Manny, a veteran who we just recently closed the transaction for. And we just wanted to bring Manny in so he could share with some of the other fellow veterans out there that even if you think you can't buy, you could possibly buy, right? I mean, so how I got involved in this picture was Sal gave me a call and he said he had a veteran that was needing financing. And Manny, why don't you introduce yourself? I got ahead of myself here, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Manuel Cuchilla, Sergeant Cuchilla. I was deployed to Iraq, when the whole war happened, and I was there for 2003, all 2004, and then came back 2005. So I was over there, imminent danger zone, we did our mission, 208 Transportation, TC company, and now I'm back, and I was lucky, enough to come back, and I still have
Thank God for that.
PTSD, but that's how it goes.
Well, we're grateful that you made it back. Yeah,
we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, that you made it back. And so you were actually a combat veteran. I mean, you're actually a combat veteran, correct? I mean, you were in combat out there.
Yes, yeah. We had a couple missions, that we lost, a few people there, and very sad. But our mission was to support, and transport many things, through the Fallujah, Ramadi, all over Iraq, when that happened.
And I think that's some of the things that get missed, when somebody says, a veteran, they don't really know the backstory, and thank you for sharing that with us. And I know you and Sal have been friends for quite some time. And when he called me, he had told me you were a veteran and a personal friend of his. And he told me the story that the home you were renting, all of a sudden the owner wanted to sell it. And it's never a great time, is it? When they, hey, by the way, we're selling the property, and I know you had been recently married and, have a new family and, all those moving parts that were taking place. That wedding cost wasn't cheap and all the things that were happening. And so when Sal and I got together, we were looking at the best possible way to get you into that home because we knew that was where your heart was at. You wanted that home for your family. And so you couldn't have picked a better person to call than Sal, knowing the, from a real estate agent standpoint, the VA guidelines. And that was one of the best things that, Sal got involved with, and having me meet with you and your wife at his office. It was a Saturday or Sunday, but that's what we do. We want to be a service. You guys served us. You didn't ask, what day it was. You guys went out there and did what you did, for our country. And with that being said, the program that we got Manny into was 100% financing, which he's entitled to already for the VA. And we also got him a second mortgage through the VA that has no payment for the first 10 years, and the interest rate is the same as the first. And I share that with you, and I wanted Manny to come and attest to this, is that if you're a veteran and you don't have any money and you're thinking that you can't buy, Manny, you would argue that they can, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, when I got married, we've been there for renting for 4 years, and we pretty much my wife was pregnant again, and so at the time they told us, okay, they're gonna sell the house. I'm like, okay, now I gotta, get my taxes online, do it really quick, and
Yeah.
So I mean that was the process that Sal Salinas, Ernie guided me through this whole thing, and and we got it done. I mean, it was surprisingly, but we got it done.
As a team, we got it done, and we had some bumps along the way, So you want to share on some of the things that, on the property that, you were able to point out to Manny because you do know what's required with VA and some of the stumbling blocks you made sure he wasn't going to fall into?
Right. Yeah, I know as a realtor, I know when I'm working with, say, a veteran and they're going to use a VA loan, I know right away that the termite, it's going to require termite, correct? Because that's the lending requirement. And then, so there was a termite inspector, and I referred Manny, a termite inspector. That got done, and then also the home inspector found a little foundation issue, so I referred you a foundation specialist, and I think he gave you the best quote, right? Because you guys got like 3 quotes, and that actually worked out. So it benefited also the seller because the seller didn't have to spend more money than they really had to. So those were a couple hurdles that we overcame. We got it done, and at the same time, you're working on the loan side. getting your stuff done, and
Correct.
we were able to close.
Yeah.
And then, as Manny touched on, he had to get his taxes done, and his wife had to get their taxes done. Not only is Manny a veteran, but he's also self-employed, and so he had to get his taxes done and get them in line. Again, we had a lot of obstacles. A lot of other, not to toot our horn, but a lot of other people would have simply said, "You don't qualify at this time," And I think somebody had told him, "You don't qualify at this time," but we guided him through because, again, we knew how important this was to him. So it became important, to
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
And it was just a situation of making it happen.
And Manny, can I ask also for your out-of-pocket expenses? I know you. My understanding is you only put your good faith deposit into escrow, right? And then that money came back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So then technically you were literally zero out of pocket in purchasing the home.
That was very surprising as well. We had no money saved up, and so we just covered like cost of inspection, and you guided me. You told me like get a full inspection, make sure
Right,
everything's
right.
correct, termite to foundation, and that's when we saw all the problems, and then at the end, surprisingly we got that back, and I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do with this? Like, okay, we save it. No, let's fix the floor, let's put
Yeah.
tile, so we put some tile on the floor, and then we put a fence, and it was just beautiful. My wife is happy, and we're that's our first place where we lived, and hopefully we end up there.
Make a
Yeah,
lifetime of
raise our
memories on
family
your
there,
children, yeah.
And that's truly amazing to hear that someone literally bought a house in these times with 0% down, no money out of pocket.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
But again, I can't stress enough, if, this isn't an AI video. Manny's a real guy. We're not going on some kind of computer and programming, a fake person to talk about how wonderful the transaction was. That's real important too, is that, we have a live body here, a veteran, a combat veteran that we were able to serve. And that makes me feel great. And I know it makes Sal feel great. And watch his family become homeowners. And, he invited us over to their home for the little housewarming party that you had. And we're grateful for that. By the way, man, your mom cooks great food. But we're saying-
Actually, that's
Yeah.
my wife's parents, and
Oh.
they were actually from Puebla, so they actually made some mole for us.
Oh, man, that was,
really
yeah.
good.
That was great.
Oh yeah, it was
good.
really, really good. I told Sal after, I go, man, that was some good food. But
Yeah, that was good.
but Manny, and in closing, is there anything you'd like to maybe say to some other veterans that are out there? Because sincerely, I mean, you thought there was no way because you had no money to saved up because you had all day-to-day expenses, right? And but with no money really saved up, hardly any money. I mean, you're a homeowner now.
Yeah, no, I mean that's very surprisingly because at the time I was she was pregnant, we're renting for 4 years, I have no money saved up. I had to do my taxes for 2 years, my wife as well. So we got guided, all throughout the whole process. Even when there was hiccups, the foundation was cracked, and then so they needed to fix that on the spot. I thought, okay, this is all done. We're not going to be able to get it no more. So from veteran to veteran, I would definitely call Ernie, and then I'll definitely call Sal. They will guide you through the whole process. Whenever you're feeling you have so many questions and you're frustrated, and they'll be there for you. They'll answer all the questions you need.
Thank you, Manny. Yeah, thank you. And again, if you've been told no somewhere else, give us a call. Let us see if we can turn that no into a yes for you and make you a homeowner. And thank you for your service. And Manny, most importantly, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Welcome.